Welcome everyone to this hybrid meeting of the Civic Licensing Committee. I would like to remind all attendees that this meeting is being recorded and webcast live on the Council's YouTube channel. I would remind all remote attendees to mute their microphones when not speaking. Start with item 1, apologies for absence.
Yes, Convener, there's apologies from Councillor Gregg, and we've got Councillors Gavin, Nicholl and Councillor Scott online today, hybrid, and the rest of the members are in the chamber.
Thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest and statements of transparency. Yes, Councillor Breeze.
Thanks, Convener. I have a statement of transparency regarding item 5, report 724. I worked with Leslie Riddick and with Montrose Cinema in facilitating the showing of this film. I'm also a director of SIF who sponsored the production of the film. However, I have no financial interest, and nor does SIF in whether this film is shown or not at Montrose. And the decision we're asked to make is very clear, and it's only on whether the content of that film can be shown to people of all ages. So I don't consider that I have a declaration of interest to make. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Breeze. Anyone else? No? We'll move to item 3, minutes of the previous meetings. We have the committee held on the 9th of November. Can we agree that as a true record? Agreed. And the meeting of the 5th of December. Can we agree that as a true record? Agreed. Thank you. We'll move to item 4, delegated approvals. Do we agree to note these delegated approvals? Move on now to item 5, which is page 15 in your papers. And this is report number 5 of 24, new short-term lets application. Now I believe we have...
Yes, the applicant, both present.
The applicant is here and prepared to talk to the committee.
Yeah, but we'll have to deal with...
Oh yes, sorry. Yeah, just take your seat. But we'll have to deal with one thing first. There is actually a late objection to this application. Do the committee...
Give the reason for the late objection.
Yeah, we'll have the reason for the late objection, and then we can agree whether we're going to allow the late objection or not. So, Stuart, can you give us the reason?
Yeah, thanks, Convener. We got an email from the objector, and I'll just read out what they've put. Is very short. They've said, we did not see the application initially as it was posted on the applicant's gate, which is set back from Cairn Road, a relatively dark spot also. I know that is quite soft, but it is what happened. So that's the reason given. So.
Okay, having heard that, we wish to hear the late objection or not? Yeah?
That's okay. Members, I'll...
Convener, I feel if that's what all that Mr McQueen's read out, is that all the content of the objection?
No, that's just the reason for it being late. No, the objection will come second. If you agree that you will take it late, you'll get the full note of the objection.
With that, do we agree to hear the late objection? Yes.
Members, I'll circulate it to you now by email.
Can we move then to the applicant to talk to their application? Sorry. When you're talking, if you just press the speak, and then when you stop talking, if you put it off, is that okay? Yeah. Thank you.
When it's red.
It's red now. Okay. Right. Is there a question that you need to answer?
No. This is your opportunity to present, if you like, your case to...
Okay. Yeah. It's very simple. We built up a garage and we created much bigger space, which initially was supposed to be an office for myself and a gym. But since I wasn't using it very often, and we had guests coming from the family just to see how we live in Scotland, the idea came up that we can actually use it as Airbnb and raise some money for our family, because we have 4 children, we need extra income. And I have experience in a service department business. I worked for one of the largest businesses in the world, Bridge Street. Specialized in service accommodation all around the world. I knew exactly what to do and how to do that. So we very quickly applied for change and added a kitchenette to the bedroom, re-equipped the place, and started advertising on Airbnb and Booking.com, and had primarily just 5-star reviews. We have 9.3 rating on Booking.com, very high. We never had even 4 stars really from any guests. It's very convenient because it's just right next to the house, so it's always supervised, and place is equipped with everything that people need. So we get guests regularly. Normally it's hill walkers, cyclists, sometimes tourists who come to visit Kirriemuir because of the festive season, and we have some golf players.
Workmen.
Workmen, yes, quite a few.
Yeah, people, contractors working
yeah.
for various projects.
So it's always been smooth and without any issues. We never had complaints from anyone, including all our neighbors.
Haven't never knocked on our door and said.
Yes, our neighbors on the right-hand side were actually quite helpful, because when we need to go, when we had to go on holidays, we asked them to look after the place, and they did. So, and we have regular cleaning service there provided, so it's always immaculate. We do repairs as needed. We conducted full fire inspection assessment there with professional body who came from Edinburgh. We had electrical tests conducted twice, PAT tests. We provided certificates for all of that, I believe. And yeah, we're just trying to do our best to bring something good to society in terms of value that people expect, and it looks like it's very popular, so there is demand for that. And we would like to carry on with this business.
And it's supporting tourism in Kirriemuir. There are a lot of tourists that don't have many places to stay, so it's, there's only like the Thrums and Early Arms, and then there's a few Airbnbs. But some people don't, there's a few bed and breakfasts, but some people want to have like self-contained, and there isn't that many around that you can have that privacy. Certainly if, I don't know, if you've got health issues or things like that, they need that kitchen for those medical medications and things.
Yeah, we also allow pets to stay. And people are very happy.
They're well behaved.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's always a condition. The people are very happy with that, because there's a lot of areas to go for a walk with your pet and so on. And by the way, the display, the notice was put in the gate because this is the nearest to the road, on Cairn Road. So if you go on Cairn Road, you look at the house, this is the gate and this is the notice. The only other place would be just to put it on the road itself. I don't know how this excuse could be considered as an excuse, because it was right on the gate. And everyone who walks by the gate or comes to the gate can see that there is a notice on the gate. So as far as I'm concerned, we did put it in the correct place that everyone could see. And we had it displayed for 3 months, actually.
We had it over the time.
Yeah, I only just removed it
You only just realised.
a couple of weeks ago.
Passed.
Yeah, so it was always there.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll open it up to members. Do we have any questions? Councillor Whiteside.
Thanks, Convener. Thanks, Mrs. Scorsky. I'm just wondering if you had to make any amendments to the building department in terms of planning permission or building control or anything like that? And has that been done?
So initially, when we built it as a garage, the planning was put through as gym and office facility. We did it all through the architect and the bathroom.
There was a bathroom.
Yeah, there was a bathroom there as well. Yeah. Shower, toilets, everything. And then when we spoke to the architect and asked him if he thinks it would be possible to add maybe kitchenette so that people could be in self-contained condition, he worked it out and submitted the application to the council, received permission, and we just made this amendment, added the kitchen, and that was it.
That's great, thank you.
Sorry, we might want to hear the actual objection, the details of the objection.
You've had them emailed to you. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Convener. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Sikorsky.
Yeah,
Good morning.
that's fine.
Microphone. Right, it's on again. Just really for my benefit, please, can you hear me? Just reading what's just come in there and thinking of an unadopted road, which is always the bane of most people's lives, and where you live in relation and looking at the map, etc. Can you honestly say there haven't been any problems with cars already?
We can honestly say that. In fact, what we did is, unlike some other neighbors that put blocks like stones, disallowing people to park, I reinforced the grass area in front of the fence. I put a special mesh which allows cars to drive on, park on it without creating any mud issues, and the grass grows through that, so it looks very nice. And we thought it would be very good for people who need to visit somebody and stop, not just at our house, but neighbors. And people do use that. And we're just trying to do as much as possible for the people, for the neighborhood. And we always spoke to the neighbors, especially across the road, also neighbors to the right, consulting with them, asking their opinion. So I think we had a fantastic relationship. I know every single neighbor around.
It's just a thought. Thanks very much.
Any other questions?
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. I just wanted to confirm during your sort of statement. You said that the property is always supervised. Did you say it's right next to the house, just so that I could get some idea of where it is in comparison?
It's a normal house, traditional dwelling, dated 1890 when it was built, and about 2 car spaces in between the house and the garage. So the car can actually park in between the garage and the house, which is normally the case, yeah. But you can also walk through and take your shopping through, and so it's quite convenient. It's really, really convenient.
And I would just also like to say that there's lots of parking in the vicinity. So should the guest have a visitor, they're not on the road. They're where we just made the outer pathway and road, if you like, space for cars to pass if there are 2 cars coming, that flexible, so that if the neighbourhood, that is not our guests, just the neighbourhood, want to park in front of our fence, that's available to them. You know, we've always spoken about what we're doing. We've never been quite transparent. And the other thing I was going to say is, it's escaped me.
Parking?
No, it was to do with, it'll come back to me, but it was quite an important point.
Carried away.
Just as a follow-up, actually, I mean, so that I suppose then makes it quite handy because you're sort of always on site. So do you when you have people booked in, do you make a point of staying there the full time, or are there times when presumably you're away and then you can't be?
if we are away, there's always somebody there around that we have given the job to manage if there was any issues. The thing that I've remembered now, an important point to note is that we do not allow parties. Okay, it is just against our house rules. People have to respect the neighbourhood. We're very
we
big
brought
on
our
that.
guest information pack with us, so you can see what guests read there, and the strict rules here that tell them what they can do, what they can't do, like non-smoking, no parties, no noise, be considerate to the neighbors, about the dogs, about basically everything that we could think of. You're welcome to take a look if you would like to.
And if for any reason a guest has broken our house rules, they are out. They are out. They have like 1 hour to get their stuff together and they're out. You know, on the odd occasion, we've had to do that in Dundee because we run service apartments in Dundee also. And we've had to call the police have attended and they've got, you know, but we haven't really had any issues with...
Here in Kirriemuir, we never had issues.
We have good guests. Yeah.
Councillor Whiteside.
Thanks, Convener. Thanks for that. Just looking at the map, it looks like you've got quite a lot of green space around about. It's not in a very built-up area or anything like that as well. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's what makes it attractive as well for people. People look for quiet place.
Councillor Breeze.
Yes, thanks, Convener. I think Councillor Whiteside touched on this, and I just wanted a bit of clarity. Did you have to get planning permission? I think you said your architect went through this, so you got planning permission for a change of use from garage to sort of residential accommodation. My other question is the house next door to the garage, the Airbnb, is that your main residence?
It used to be our main residence. We sold the house a year ago. There's an elderly couple, Devon and Sheila, who live there. We signed an agreement with them. It was actually their idea, but we continue running it because when we moved out and we came to greet them and meet them, had a chat with them, we realized that they hardly know anyone or anything around the area, and they need somebody to help them, which we offer them. And they also said, we don't know what to do with this space now. We have this extra accommodation. We told them that what we were doing with it. We said, why don't you do that? And they said, oh, we're too old for this and can't be bothered. But if you want to continue, then please do. So we signed an agreement with them. I provided a copy to the council because I had questions following submission of our application, and also provided an extra letter from Devon's confirming that they don't mind for this facility to be used as Airbnb business. And they actually enjoy it very much because it gives them a little bit of extra social life, because Devon likes coming out and talking to people. They have a little dog there, so we put it also in our house rules, so be considerate of a little dog. If you have a pet, make sure that your pet is friendly, otherwise on the lead, and all has been going really well. They're happy. And I spoke to Devon yesterday. He's happy to answer any questions. If you have any questions to him directly, he's there all the time. They never go anywhere, which makes it also very convenient because they always supervise the place. They always can tell if there's somebody making noise. So parties are not even possible there because there's people just looking in the window. Right? And these are the owners of the estate.
Councillor Breeze?
Yeah, I just wondered, have the applicants seen the letter of objection?
No.
No, we haven't.
Because there are issues raised in that I don't know. I'm a bit uncomfortable if we're making a decision on this, having seen this information, when the applicants haven't seen it. The applicants could easily read it on my screen here if I took it over.
While we're doing that, I have questions.
No, it's all right. It's easier if we just...
I'm sorry if I missed this. How long have you actually been running this business?
Since 2016.
Yeah, 7 years about.
Thank you for that.
Excellent. We're very happy to answer these questions. Sure.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would help actually.
Sorry. Okay. Would you, now that you've actually seen the objection, would you like to respond to that? Yeah. Okay. If you just go through the points and
Sure.
respond to each one. Thank
So
you.
point number one, the dwelling is in part of a double garage built as a consequence of planning permission being denied for an actual dwelling house on the site due to access issues. So this is untrue. We never applied for dwelling house. We always applied for the garage. We know who is this person, and he complained many times. So they wasted a council's time before because he complained that we were building illegally on his property, on his land. So we had a person, an assessor coming from the council, looking at the borders, measuring the distances from the garage to the border, and everything was confirmed that there was no grounds for this complaint. They also complained to the police during the COVID times. Obviously, we observed the rules because the rules were imposed by Airbnb and Booking.com about the disinfection, the distances, the change of sanitary equipment and so on. So everything was run legally. We had police coming, checking everything, apologizing to us again. So this is the same person basically. So the dwelling, I'll answer the first question. Second one, yeah, about COVID, I also answered now.
But I would like to add to that.
Yes.
What we were allowed only to host key workers, okay? This person was a key worker that we were hosting, and there was nowhere to stay. Hotels were shut down. These were the only places available.
We had a nurse.
We had a nurse staying, and we also had a chap building housing for people, and he was a key worker. He showed us his key working information. I don't have a copy of it today.
It was not possible to break the rule, really, because it was checked by many parties, including Airbnb and Booking.com, because especially Airbnb, they were quite strict about this. Yeah. And also, applicant no longer lives at the address, although application seems to make it appear that he does so. That's again not true because we provided all the documents very clearly showing you the agreement between us and Devon and Sheila, and also the additional letter that they wrote. The number of people using the dwelling as a short-term let has significantly increased the volume of traffic on the Cairn Road. One of the reasons permission, it's absolutely not true because we have a car coming, parking in a place. Devon doesn't really drive, he only goes maybe once a week shopping. So it's actually decreased number of traffic because when we lived there,
we had two cars.
And very active lifestyle with 4 kids going to different schools. Kate is driving children in the morning in 4x4. to Finhaven Hotel, to the bus stop, to pick them up for school. So it was much more traffic then than now. Now it's significantly less. So all 4 points are not true.
Thank you. Councillor Braze.
Yeah, just to say, Convener, I'm really grateful for you allowing that. I thought that extremely important, especially when the objection came in late. And we, we agreed to hear the late objection. I thought it very important that they be allowed to respond to it. Thanks.
Certainly something I think we need to take and cognizance for the future, that if the applicant hasn't seen it, then they should. Thank you very much for that, Councillor Braze. I think with that then, we can move to the recommendations. Are you okay with that? And the recommendations are: 1, to grant the application; 2, to grant the application subject to standard or any additional conditions; 3, to defer the application for a period not exceeding 6 months from the date of the application; and 4, to refuse the application on one or more of the grounds referred to in paragraph 4. With that in mind, can we have a motion? Councillor Whiteside.
I'd like to recommend that we grant the application. I don't see any good reason why we shouldn't.
Councillor Clark.
I'm happy to second. You answered me very truthfully, having had the first experience in my life with my family from abroad last year of Airbnb. The one good thing that you mentioned, that you've got an interest, and I'm not going to say you're there, but you've got that interest right next door, that makes such a difference. So you answered my questions, anything that I was slightly unhappy about. So very well done. I'm happy to approve this and wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, Councillor Clark, is the applicant doesn't live there, but someone else does. That's what you meant, yeah. Yeah.
Did you understand what? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I said at least you had some interest there. You've got somebody there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That is vital.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. We understood and we heard you.
I think you wanted to say something, did you? No. Councillor Fotheringham.
If I can have a comment, is that possible, Convener?
Certainly.
Thank you. Yes, I fully support this. I actually know this property, and as you all know, I worked in Kirriemuir for 17 years. I know it very well. It's good to see that despite the objectors saying that the police were called, that's in the appendix to this report that Police Scotland have no objections and that planning have approved the application. As far as the objectors' undesirable increase in traffic, no, I don't agree with that at all. As you know, Convener, Cairn Road may well be unadopted, but it is a through road between Shield Hill Road and Cortahay Road, and it also has access onto Cadham Crescent. So I'm fully supportive of this and wish Mr and Mrs Sikorsky all the best. Thank you.
So with that, can we agree a unanimous decision to grant the application? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to say, in addition to thanking you and listening to us, I just wanted to say that we came to this business with the idea of having a mission in life, and that mission is to improve life for people, not just ourselves. So when we came to the house, we bought it in 2015. We moved in May 2015, and it was so neglected. It was empty for 70 years before that. So mold, damp, total destruction. The neighbors were actually dumping rubbish into the driveway. Okay, so we cleaned everything. We spent a lot of money. We heard people commenting, "Why are you doing this? It's never going to pay off." And especially when I built this parking space in front of the gate and in front of the fence. Yeah.
Sorry to interject.
Yes.
I don't mean to do this, but it's been agreed. You're happy.
No, I just
a lot of business to get on. I don't mean to be like that.
I just wanted to know that
yes.
We're very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just going to replenish my water, sorry. Sorry, that takes us on to item renewal of cinema licence for Chalmers, page 19. Now, we have someone, is Andrew Hunter, agent, is that right?
Yes,
It's coming in
yes,
hybrid.
convener. And I've also got a letter to circulate to members, which I'll do just now in connection with Chalmers.
Convener, I think I'm the next renewal application. I think Mr MacDonald might be dealing with the cinema licence because he just appeared on my screen, if that helps.
That is correct, Your Honour. It's Alistair MacDonald of MacDonald Licensing. Thank you, Andrew.
No, we're dealing with Chalmers. We're dealing with the Chalmers one just now.
Who do we have talking for Chalmers?
Alistair MacDonald, MacDonald Licensing.
Oh, sorry, that's
Okay.
mine.
Sorry about that. Alistair. So we're okay just to get Alistair.
Yes.
Okay, Alistair, thank you very much for agreeing to come, or sorry, present. Would you like to go ahead?
Thank you, Your Honours. These are premises, Chalmers at Queen's Drive in Arbroath. It's a renewal of a cinema licence. Andrew Henderson, who's the director of that company, did intend to be online as well, but urgent appointment has come up, and he advised me yesterday that he couldn't appear. Now, the application itself was actually submitted by another agent, Andrew Williams, who retired at the end of last year and passed this over to me, and indicated at the time that our clients have operated here since 2010. The licenses have been renewed since then without issue, as I understand it, and he seemed to think that the same would apply this time too. So obviously, I was somewhat taken aback when there was this committee. So my apologies, Your Honours, for not knowing a great deal about the background with these premises. And of course, I did expect Andrew Henderson to be here, who would be able to supply you with any practical information. So I'm on my own, I'm afraid, and therefore apologies for any shortcomings in information that I can provide. I will try my best. You're being asked, I think the reason for being called today is the comments from on the electrical installation report dated 19th December, which you will no doubt have before you. Now, I'm not sure if any of you have any background or any knowledge of such things, but I certainly do not. My client, Andrew Henderson, does, and I think yesterday I sent over a copy of a training certificate that he had, albeit from some time ago, but he does have electrical training himself from when he was a builder. He's no longer qualified to carry out electrical work with lack of insurance and so on, but he is not a layman in these terms. He is aware of the situation. Now, I know that concerns have been expressed, and I know that the licensing committee, you have to take into account what you have in front of you. Our clients did provide me with a report, and that report was sent on to Your Honours. You will also see that he has agreed that he will carry out the work. He does not consider it to be urgent, but he does accept the fact that he will carry out the work. He has received a letter from his electrical contractors, and you will see the timescale that is involved here. So the work is going to be done, Your Honours. This is an old building. It's a historical building. I suppose it was okay in 10 years ago or 20 years ago, as the regulations have been updated. I understand that following the 1955 Act, that there have been, I think it's in version 19 now, so there are constant updates of these regulations. But as I say, our clients have taken that on board, and they got in touch with their contractors and asked them to do it as soon as possible, and you do have a letter in front of you agreeing to that. I suppose, therefore, I'm in your hands, Your Honours, but what we are asking for is a renewal of this licence on the basis that the work, nothing has changed. In other words, the premises are exactly the same as when you renewed it at the last time. So nothing has deteriorated. There's no indication that the premises are in a worse condition than before. We're just being asked to upgrade the electrics, which our client has agreed to do. I think our client, obviously this is an important local facility. It is, as I understand it, the only cinema in Arbroath. I think the closest ones would be Montrose or Dundee. It caters for visitors to Arbroath. It caters for local people as well. It is a busy and important facility. Our client is an experienced operator. He does have similar properties elsewhere. The last thing he would want to do is put his customers and staff indeed at any kind of risk. He's confident that that is not the situation. So we would ask for the application to be granted, the renewal to be granted, on the basis that he does undertake to have the work carried out, as you have seen from his electrical contractor. I'll stop my presentation there, Your Honours. I think it might be easier if I just addressed any queries or clarification that you might require. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Dunno, you have a question?
Thank you. I just want to ask a question. Is the property still up for sale at the moment?
As explained, Your Honours, my involvement has only been for the last couple of months. I couldn't actually answer that question, I'm afraid.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Whiteside.
Thanks, Convener, and thanks, Alistair. Do you know how long the works are anticipated to take? We know when they're going to start, but do you know how long that will take?
I think the indication is that it could take about a month.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. I suppose there's more than one option here. I'll just check that I would be correct. And if the committee were minded to defer this, my understanding is that their licence would continue and it could come back at a time once the works are done. So it doesn't take away from them doing their business, and it would allow them to get the work done and then come back to us for approval. Excuse me, who was first? Councillor Braze? Councillor Braze.
Yes, well, prior to hearing what you just said, my concern was that at 2 in the report around background, members are asked to note that on page 2 of the report, section K, observations, it makes reference to an attached defects sheet, and we're told about some of these entries have code C2, which means that it's potentially dangerous, urgent remedial action required. And I'm just a bit concerned about if this requires urgent attention, I'm a bit uncomfortable about deferring and taking no action on this until such times, unless I suppose we put a time limit on this.
Melville.
Yeah, thanks. My comment was going to be much the same as what Councillor Brays has said. I have to say it does strike me a little bit that the applicant's agent said that the cinema did not feel that it was urgent, despite the fact that they have been given that C2 rating, and indeed they have been given similar defects since the year previous. That strikes me as not ideal, shall we put it. So I would agree with Councillor Brays. I think, given the rating that says potentially dangerous, urgent remedial action, I don't know how comfortable I would feel just leaving it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Fotheringham.
Thank you, Convener. Yeah, like my colleagues, Councillors Brays and Melville, and indeed yourself, I think probably deferral is the thing for this, because it's not going to affect their day-to-day running at this time. And to be fair, they have taken action. We have a letter in front of us confirming that works will commence in February and be completed by the end of March. So if we were to defer the consideration of this application until we see the electrical works completed, it's not going to affect their day-to-day running, I don't think, and then we can grant the application or consider the application when we see the completed works. Thank you.
The next meeting would be the 28th of March, just for information. Sorry, there is a February one, but whether we would get it from there. You would have. Councillor Clark, you want to come in?
Yeah, really just to say that I'm a bit alarmed because if you read all this electrical stuff, it's really quite worrying for fire, etc., and you know, and the public. So yeah, the deferral is very sensible. It's not as if we're asking that to be deferred forever. It's 10 years, so you know, it just needs to be done. Nobody's saying it doesn't.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. Councillor Dunno.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with it being deferred. As I say, there's quite a lot going on with this business at the moment. We don't know what's going to happen actually with the owner, if the owner is going to sell. So there's going to have to be things done to make it safe, and I'm quite happy with that plan at the moment, because obviously summer season's coming up and we'll be wanting the cinema to be open, either it be new people or whatever, but that work has to be done before the new season starts. Thanks.
Mr. MacDonald, do you want to come back on anything you've heard?
Thank you, Convener. My understanding as to what's been suggested is that this be deferred until the hearing of the 28th of March, which would roughly tie in with the indication from the electrical contractor as to when the work would be completed, and would give, I suppose, our clients a definitive deadline date. I certainly do not consider that to be unreasonable. And just for clarification, that it doesn't affect the ongoing operation of the premises at the moment.
Thank you for that. Can I ask then, oh sorry, I'll move to the recommendations. One, we take account of the electoral inspection report, respect the premises and determine whether to renew the cinema licence for Chalmers. Can I ask then for motions?
Oh, sorry, could you put your...
The motion is to go with the legal representation suggesting that when it's deferred, it should be taken over by themselves and not come back to committee. That's the motion.
To defer?
Yeah.
Sorry, I wonder if it would be to defer the application to the 28th of March committee. However, if the works are completed sooner, then it can be delegated to officers to grant under delegated powers if the information comes in sooner.
Yes, I'll second that, Convener. Thank you.
Any other amendments? Councillor Brays.
I'm sorry, Convener, but I'm not happy with this going on for another 2 months when we've got C2s in there that require urgent attention I don't think that we should be deferring. I should think that we should be refusing this licence until at least the C2 category ones are dealt with. And then officers under delegated powers could. As for the other actions that are required, then they could follow in due course.
Okay, so that's an amendment. Do you have a seconder?
Can I just get a clarification?
Yes.
If we refuse it, would the whole application process have to start again?
I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
License no longer exists and therefore operations would need to cease.
Sorry.
The following want to come in.
No, I think Mr McQueen has just answered. That was my question, convener, was that if it's refused today, but we've already said that if we defer it today, the operations can continue. If we refuse it today, that's it. Is that the case? Okay, thank you.
Councillor Brace?
Yes, for clarification then, how long would a whole new application take to process and grant?
Generally, we try to grant them as quickly as possible since we've received all the necessary documentation. This is slightly different to the normal civic ones in that there's not as many consultations that need to go out, so it would be relatively quick. I can't put an absolute time limit on it because it depends what we get at the time. We need to then review that documentation and take appropriate advice from that.
Okay, thank you everyone. I think now we will have to, oh, sorry, Councillor Whiteside.
Yeah, I wonder if Mr MacDonald would be able to give any indication of whether the urgent work could be completed, you know, really quickly. How long that might take.
I'm not really in a position to do that, Your Honour. I wish I could. I would have to take instructions from my client regarding that. I mean, I think obviously this is a facility. This is an important facility to our client's business and also to the local community. And as I did say, I didn't mean that the work wasn't urgent. I meant that nothing has changed. I did stress that these premises have been in the same condition, certainly at the time that it was renewed at the last application. This is the quickest that he can get it done. It was originally hoped that it would be done this month. The letter says start it in February and finish by the end of March. I think if we could say to the contractors, can you give this priority and get it fixed as soon as possible, then I would like to think that it could be done quicker than that. The possibility of delegated powers to renew it being mentioned. I would have hoped that the March date would have been the deadline, but I think I will stress to my client that this should be done as soon as possible, and I understand that, and I understand the concerns. You've to deal with this on the basis of the paperwork before you, and I understand that. But at the same time, as I say, our client is an experienced operator. He doesn't want to put anyone at risk. He doesn't think he is putting anyone at risk, and he would very much like the opportunity of continuing to operate. But I will stress to him that he's got to try and get it done quicker than this letter indicates.
Thank you. Councillor Melville.
Yes, thanks, Convener. In seconding Councillor Bray's amendment, I do want to stress that it is purely out of the safety concern. I think when we have something in front of us that says potentially dangerous, urgent action required, that strikes me as something that is fairly important. So while I recognise that Councillor Brays and I may very well be in the minority today, I do think it's important that this is put to a vote, particularly around those safety concerns.
It will be put to a vote. There's been a motion and amendments that will be put to a vote. Did I see a hand up there from Mr MacDonald? Or?
Yes, thank you, Convener. I mean, obviously, we would hope that this isn't refused, because I think refused is quite a draconian decision. I mean, obviously there is a third alternative, and that is that it's, your clerk will no doubt clarify this, but is there not a third alternative that the premises would have to have the work done before operating? In other words, not refused.
We're just seeking, we're just waiting for a little bit of advice there before I move on, or we'll lose the point. Your amendment was to refuse?
To refuse.
No, it was to refuse paying work.
No, it wasn't. It was to refuse.
To refuse.
You got it? No? Yeah, it was, I think it was to refuse.
Got it, it's to...
Yes, we've got that. Yep, we understand.
Utilise?
Yes. Just for clarity then, your amendment is that the licence be granted subject to conditions, and the condition is that that work's done before they operate. Yeah,
The urgent work, the C2s,
okay,
before they operate again.
that's great, thank you. I think then what we have...
Do we still want to continue with the motion, Councillor Durno and Councillor Botherman?
Yeah, because there's such a lot going on in this business at the moment.
Such
So
a lot going on with this business at the moment. I really don't think they need this as well. To
So
be
we'll
honest.
move to a vote, yeah?
So it's grant the license. Okay, convener, I'm going to move to the vote now. So we're considering agenda item number 6, and it's a renewal of the cinema licence for Chalmers Arbroath. The motion moved by Councillor Durno, seconded by Councillor Fotheringham, is that we defer consideration of the application to the 28th of March, well, to allow the works, the urgent electrical works to be completed, and that be then reconsidered at the Civic Committee on the 28th of March 2024. The amendment moved by Councillor Bray, seconded by Councillor Melville, is to renew the cinema licence for Chalmers, subject to a condition that the works for the premise, that the premises do not operate until the works are completed. Is that correct, Stuart? So
the information to be provided.
And the information provided
The licensing.
to the licence authority. You happy with that, Councillor Breeze?
No, I'm sorry. I was quite specific that I wanted the C2 urgent, potentially dangerous things to be addressed.
C2 urgent works to be completed.
As for the other works, well, that would follow on from that.
Okay, but so the amendment is obviously still to renew the licence, but obviously not operating until the urgent C2 works are completed. Right, if members move for the motion.
Can I have clarification, please? I'm sorry,
Yes. What
sorry,
do you
convener, I'm a bit confused because I thought originally the amendment was to refuse. Have we changed that now?
want? Yes.
No, yes. Yes, that's
Right.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's not to refuse Councillor Scott, it's to renew the cinema licence. So we're renewing the cinema licence, but it's subject that the premises do not operate until the urgent C2 works are completed.
Right, okay, thank you.
So that way it wouldn't come back to the committee at all. The motion is to defer it and it come back to the committee on the 28th of March to see if the works have been completed. Is everyone clear? Yeah. Okay. So if the members vote for the motion and amendment, Convener?
Amendment.
Councillor Melville?
Amendment.
Councillor Brace?
Amendment.
Councillor Clark? Amendment. Councillor Durno? Councillor Fotheringham?
Motion.
Councillor Nicholl?
Amendment.
Councillor Scott?
Amendment.
And Councillor Whiteside.
Amendment.
So that's 2 for the motion, 7 for the amendment. Therefore, the amendment is carried.
I have a point of clarification, convener, just so that the applicant as well as the people of Arbroath are aware of what we've decided today. I wonder if the exact wording could be shared with the applicant as well.
Yes,
Yes, will do.
Do you want to read the exact wording?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
You happy with that?
is Mr MacDonald clear what has happened today?
I'm clear on what's happened, but I would appreciate the wording being clarified.
Yes, but we'll email that to you and your client.
That's fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. That takes us on to item 7, exemption to cinema licence conditions, Montrose Playhouse, which we have at page 24. Now, I believe we have Matthew Buchanan. Is that correct?
Here.
Hello. Hello, Matthew. Would you like to talk to your application, please?
Yes, thank you very much. We've asked for an exception, an exemption to the license to show an unrated by the BBFC documentary. We've viewed it and we feel happy that it's not got anything likely to cause offence or you know, to be an unrated film. I believe that if it was BBFC rated, it would be rated as there's no swearing, sex, drugs, or anything along those lines. So I would be grateful to hear your opinions, and I'm always, as I was before, grateful for your time and consideration in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members will have received a copy of the classification guidelines and had the opportunity to actually view this, dare I call it a short film? It's about an hour, isn't it? Do we have any questions? None?
Could I just confirm that all members have viewed the film?
Yep. Can members confirm that they've actually viewed the film?
Yes.
Good, thank you very much. If we...
Sorry, Councillor.
Councillor Durno, you haven't?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't, sorry.
I think that probably means you probably won't be able to take a view on this one then.
Is that okay? Right. If we move then to the recommendations, the recommendations are determine whether to permit the exhibition of the unclassified film, and 2, if the committee is minded to permit the showing of the unclassified film, determine what, if any, conditions apply to the permissions. So there are no questions or comments. Can we then have a motion? Councillor Whiteside, I think I caught her first. I think.
Sorry. I would like to recommend that we permit the exhibition, and I would highly recommend viewing of it, and there's absolutely nothing in it that would cause any offence whatsoever.
And a seconder?
Yeah, I'd like to agree wholeheartedly with Councillor Whiteside. I watched it myself, and there was absolutely nothing in it that anybody could object to, and yes, very interesting.
Thank you. Councillor Fotheringham, do you have any comment?
Yes, just like my two colleagues said there, it was a nice film to watch, and swimming in the centre of Copenhagen, I think it was. What they've actually done to clean up that river, and very environmentally sustainable and very friendly, and right in the middle of, there's a bit sectioned off as you watched for swimming, and absolutely fantastic. So no, I have no issue with it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, are we agreed? A unanimous decision to grant this?
And
yes.
No conditions or anything.
No, sorry, Councillor Braze.
Yeah, no, I agree to this. Just a comment.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, I do think that we need to consider
no conditions.
what, the fact that well, this wasn't a problem. It was a very short film for members to sit through, not a problem. But we had a previous application from the Playhouse that involved an awful lot of viewing for members for a festival that they put on. And my understanding is that the Playhouse hopes to do more of this sort of thing. It's a hugely successful festival. And I'm just wondering if there isn't a way that another way of doing this so that members are not having to sit through hour after hour after hour. Is this what happens in every other local authority? Is this what, a cinema licence, is that how it differs from showing a thing in a community hall?
Yeah, it's covered by legislation, and unfortunately, for members to be able to be truly informed and make a proper decision, then they have to be able to view those, and there is no delegation of that to officers.
Okay.
I did actually check that
We
out.
did ask, yeah.
I did check that out. Sorry, with that, we agreed to then grant this application. Agreed. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Buchanan. Okay, with that, we'll move to item 8, renewal application from Shell Petrol Station, page 48. And now,
Andrew Hunter.
Yeah, we have Andrew Hunter, who will be talking to this application.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, Andrew, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, thank you, Your Honours. This is a renewal of a Leiter's catering licence. It's a licence, I understand, it's been in effect for a number of years. It's been called into committee, I think, because I think there was a need to clarify that the exceptions to your standard policy hours should continue to apply for these premises. So they have applied for the full statutory hours, 11 p.m. to 5 a.m, and those are the hours that have been enjoyed under previous renewals. It's a petrol station that trades for a 24-hour basis. As members may know, Leiter's catering, I think, certainly in the past has been associated with late night takeaways and so on, but the legislative definition means that if you're selling food of any type, so groceries, cornflakes, whatever, then you're required to have a licence for that as well. So it's really intended to allow the convenience element of the petrol station to continue operating through the 24 hours that the shop's open for fuel. There's no plans to change any of the items that are available for sale. So in terms of your standard grocery convenience, they sell cold sandwiches, they sell Costa coffee, and they would propose to do that through the night as they have done. I'm not aware of any objections to the applications or any concerns raised about the way it's traded in the past, but we do understand that it's necessary for the committee to check that it should continue to be subject to an exception to your standard policy. But certainly, they trade without difficulty. It's a 24-hour petrol station, and we would simply ask you to grant the licence to allow it to continue operating as it has done so in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Open up to members. Are there any questions on this application? A comment from, sorry, was there a question? No. A comment from Councillor Melville.
Yes, thanks, Convener. I think this one is incredibly straightforward. I think particularly for things like this, it's important to remember that we have a lot of people who work unsociable hours who might need to rely on the grocery element of this. And having worked unsociable hours myself, I know exactly what that's like. So I see no reason to object to this and would move the grant.
Councillor Clark.
Yep, as a local member, I know this garage and happy to grant this. I've never noticed any problem whatsoever. Good staff, which is very, very important. Always happy to help, albeit I don't go in during the night. But nevertheless, I think it's very important. You know, the next premises like that are on the A90, so if you work, you know, it's quite far for people to go really if they need to. So happy for this to be granted. Thank you.
Any other comments? No? Okay, with that, we'll go to the recommendations. The recommendation number 1 is to renew the application. 2, to renew the application subject to standard or any additional conditions. 3, to defer the application for a period not exceeding 6 months from the date of the application. Or 4, to refuse the application on one or more of the grounds referred to in paragraph 4. With that, I think it's, sorry, Councillor Melville.
I'd like to move the grant, Convener.
Yeah. I think that's probably unanimous, am I agreed? Seconded by Councillor Clark. So we agreed unanimously to grant? Okay. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Mr. Hunter.
Thank you. Just to confirm that's in the full hours slot then?
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, the next application is, well, we'll start with number 9, which is the exclusion of public and press. The committee are asked to note that the public and press will be excluded from the meeting during consideration of the following item, so as to avoid disclosing confidential information in terms of section 50A brackets 2 and brackets 3 bracket B to the Local Government Scotland Act 1973.
Okay, John, could you stop the live stream, please?